territory where Carlos Bulosan once lived to tell the story of the rain, sweat, glory of Mike Jackson men who fight the destination we were destined to end. Left the writing on the wall in the halls of the Nippon Khan. Others transformed, majority Decepticons, but my conception of the walk.
Here we are, the Wait for It Seattle podcast. It's Kevin and Brian, episode 42. Does that sound right?
Yeah, the Jackie Robinson episode.
Jackie Robinson.
Who was in the news.
Yeah. Whoa. I mean, we don't want to get too political here, Kev, but
it's not political. They accidentally
right.
removed his.
You're right. Well, I thought it was political. I thought they removed it on purpose. No?
No. It was on accident, but it's kind of like.
But it fits within.
Yes, they've removed a lot of things on accident at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's the Jackie Robinson episode. It's not the Butch Husky episode, who also were number 42.
What a great name, by the way.
Yeah, great name.
He played for the Mariners.
He did. He was one of, I believe this is correct, that he was one of the last major league players allowed to wear 42, because when they retired Jackie Robinson's number from all of baseball, whoever was wearing it still was allowed to keep wearing it.
So somewhere out there, someone has a Husky Mariners jersey with the number 42.
It's like your dream. Yeah, it's your dream. Yeah. Okay, well, now I know what I'm going to be looking for you. It's March Madness time. Last week you said you couldn't believe it's March, and now we're rolling towards April and opening day, which we'll talk about both today.
What brought you more joy? Seeing Gonzaga lose? Actually, no, I don't think there's more joy than that. I can't think of anything that would bring you more joy. You don't like Gonzaga.
I'm better than I used to be.
Yeah.
I picked them to beat Houston in my pools. Like
I did too.
I like chaos, and I don't know. I'm not a huge Kelvin Sampson fan either, as a former Coug coach. I used to take a ton of pleasure in Gonzaga losing in the tournament. Like it's what I lived for. And there are a lot of Gonzaga people who work at Seattle.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, and they all wear their gear. So when that happens, I root against them because I find it to be obnoxious. No offense to my friends who do that, but
I'm surprised you're not at Gonzaga Light right now. Arizona's coaching staff, which is all of Gonzaga.
True.
They're playing Oregon at Climate Pledge right now.
Yeah, as we speak. I don't know
what the score is, but that would have been a cool game. Christine was telling me we're prepping dinner, and she was saying, what did she say? She said, don't they play each other in the regular season? And I said, actually, they don't.
I had that same moment today. Christine, again, we're aligned on the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a great Pac-12 matchup. It like flashed in my head. It was actually the first time I felt kind of sad.
Yeah, well, then I had the other progression thinking about like Oregon basketball has been very good for a very long time.
Did you see the stat that they have more March wins than any team in the last 15 years?
God, don't tell me that.
Including like UConn, Duke, whatever. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, Dana Altman, who's the former Creighton head coach, that was just such a good hire. It didn't really make culturally like sense. Like actually their hires aren't West Coast people. So what's his face? Dan Lanning, not a West Coast person. Mm-hmm. Dana Altman, not a West Coast person. And Altman has stayed at Oregon.
He's been there a long time.
He's been there a long time.
He had a time where I don't remember, and I don't want to say it wrongly, but there was a time he was almost let go, I feel like. Yeah. There was something weird that happened at Oregon for a while. And he survived it, and they're rolling out dudes with bald spots or like look like they're 40. It's their best player, and they're still alive. They're playing as we speak. Quick Oregon story. We went to Oregon team camp once when I was a boys basketball coach, and Peyton Pritchard was there with West Lynn High School, and we played against him on the main Oregon court at team camp.
Yeah,
and I was coaching the game. Mike Kelly, our head coach, was coaching the JV that summer. We kind of switched roles I think his son was on the JV, and so he wanted to coach his son. So I was coaching the varsity, and we beat Peyton Pritchard. It's a summer league game. We played really, really well. Peyton Pritchard was awesome. Two things I remember from that game. One, we're up like 11, and he just hits a 3 2 steps behind the line. I'm like, all right, we're fine. I think we turn it over, miss a free throw. Comes down 5 steps behind the line, hits a 3. And we hit 2 free throws. We're still up like 7. There's not that much time left. Next time, like logo 3, buries it.
Yeah.
And we're still up at like 5. We're gonna win. And the next time down, I just told the team, like, I want you all to guard him. I don't care if anyone else shoots. Everyone's guarding Pritchard. And the kids were like, wait, all of us? I'm like, literally all 5 of you. Like, I didn't care if another kid shot it, got a layup, because there was enough time that it would have been fine. I just didn't want him to hit another 3. And he didn't, thankfully.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of someone sent me highlight tape of Seattle Prep playing Michael Porter, and there were like at one point 3 dudes guarding Michael Porter who was posting up.
We tried.
Probably the same era.
It's
around.
The players on the team were the same era. Yes.
Poor guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. That's what's cool. You get to go play like really insane
At any
dudes.
point did you think Pritchard, I mean, Porter, obviously you could say, yeah, this guy's going to the NBA, but did you ever flash in your head like, oh yeah, that's an NBA player? Or it's just like, oh, this is a D1 dude.
I watched Pritchard at that camp and I thought he was really, really good. Yeah. Like high D1, and he was going to be a stud. I don't know that I would have thought he would have as good an NBA career as he has, right? Yeah. Like he might be 6th man of the year this year. He's great, but his handle was insane in high school and his range. But the other funny Pritchard story that this kid was guarding him, named Jackson Woodward, really good family of athletes.
Football player,
the
too.
Woodward family, yes. Yeah. Mom Julie is the Seattle U women's coach. And Jackson said that Pritchard looked at him and goes, bro, do you have any offers? Jackson was like, no. And he's like, why are you even out here?
Oh, wow.
And Jackson Woodward has a lot of confidence. He ended up playing Division I football, and he briefly played basketball at Idaho. So he was a really good athlete, and he wasn't short on confidence. He just looked at him and was like, all right, dude. And they just kept playing. Yeah. But it was awesome. I mean, these guys, I think people want to sort of like, CBS tells the story in March Madness of how good a dude is. And like, they can be good dudes, and they can also talk a lot of
crap
mess on the floor.
Yeah.
And
during summer camp.
Yeah, summer camp, when he's a god on campus. He was an Oklahoma commit, and they were flipping him that weekend to Oregon. And they did it. And he even said, like, we asked him, his coaches were like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm probably going to Oregon. But he was milking it. He's like, what can I get out of this? I don't want to get Peyton Pritchard or anyone in trouble, but seemed like there was something happening there. All right. Well, there you go. March Madness. So our theme for March Madness is we're going to go Elite 8 questions on Seattle sports. There's a lot going on. We'll try to keep it quick. Every time we say that, we don't, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one has to do with the Seattle Sounders. They're off. They played so many matches, but in MLS action now, they're kind of off to a tough start. Should we be worried?
5 matches in. It's not even the end of March yet. I'm not worried. Are you?
No, not really, because they've done this before. Last year, I think they got off to a good start last year, but the couple years before, really bad starts. They don't look bad. I went last night. It was pretty boring. 0-0 games can be. But they didn't look like a bad soccer team, right? And that was without Jordan Morris and Pedro de la Vega. So that's the worry, is the injuries and, playing those CONCACAF games and all that. But they have San Jose and San Diego the next 2 matches. So hopefully they can pull a couple wins, and then we won't have to worry at all. So,
yep.
All right. Done with Sounders. That was quick. We did it.
Yeah. Washington women unfortunately fell to Columbia. At one point, they had a 13-point lead.
Yeah.
So this was a first 4 game. They weren't slotted in the actual 64 team field, is what that means. And I was giddy, so I picked them to win their first round match before they even won the first 4. I asked you the last week, is this season a success? Despite whatever may happen, even an opening loss in the tournament. I guess first question is like, what was your reaction to the game?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any thoughts after that?
I thought the Huskies played awesome in the first half. I watched the whole first half. I was driving and listening to the radio for the most of the second half. So it was really cool how well they played, and then it was even more disappointing how they finished. And I'm disappointed in the coaching staff. I don't slam coaches much, Kev, but
Yeah.
and Tina Langley has done a good job. They've progressed how they need to progress. Here's the two things I was disappointed in. Columbia stepped up their intensity, and the Huskies didn't match it. And there's too many players with too much of experience not to match that to blow a 13-point lead. And then more significantly at the end of the game, Columbia had, let's see, they had a 2-point lead. They inbounded the ball. I want to say this is right. And they wanted to get it to their best free throw shooter, Rachel Weisz, not to be confused with the actress who has a similar name. Sorry, Riley Weisz. That's why I was confused.
Who was torching them?
So Riley Weisz, I think I heard this on the broadcast, is like the third best free throw shooter in the history of Columbia or something like that.
Yeah. And
she was the inbounder, and she threw it in and then ran in and got it. And they had Elle Ladine guarding her and playing off. Mm-hmm. And so Weisz got it easy and got fouled, hit 2 free throws. So then they're down 4. They run a great inbounds play. Credit to Tina Langley to get Ladine a 3 to cut it to 1. And they need to foul somebody besides Weisz, like anyone. And there's two women on the floor. Elise Woodward was on the call. And there's 2 people on the floor who are shooting in the 60s or something. And they had Weisz not inbound the ball this time. Good job by Columbia staff. They mixed it up. And she just beat Hannah Steins to a spot and got fouled. And I don't know why you're not doubling the one free throw shooter who's absolutely going to torch you. So
that's a good point.
That frustrated me a lot.
My biggest takeaway?
Yeah.
Sellers is hella good. And she's only a sophomore.
Yeah, they're built to be successful next year. But again, we've talked about this, I feel like, a lot, and we'll talk about it when they actually get someone, but they have to get a big in the portal.
Yeah, they got to replace Daniels. I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to be big in the Big Ten. It's kind of like the men's team. So, that's going to be my homework. I'm going to have to figure out who they're going to get in the portal.
Yeah, there's no rumors yet. It's harder on X to find the women's portal rumors. But let's transfer to the third point here, because I thought this was really interesting. The Washington men being done early allows them to jump on the portal.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my tweet. Did you?
You've done some reporting, Kev.
Yeah.
You were getting credit from other sources?
Yeah.
So tell us what you're reporting here.
Yeah. So there's some people right now. There's 2 groups of people, and we're on the transfer portal eve. And when you listen to this, the transfer portal will be open.
Yeah.
But basically, guys right now are saying they are planning or they have intentions to enter the portal. Mm-hmm. Or they're guys that are already in the portal. So, for example, Iowa, who I think they let go Fran McCaffrey, who's their head coach.
And they
once
may or may not have hired Drake's coach, Ben McCollum. Yeah.
The portal opens up.
Yeah.
And so one guy's name was Brock Harding, who said Washington in his top 6. So he's a starting point guard. I don't know if he was a starter. I think he started a good amount of their games. I need to look.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so Brock Harding will be visiting Washington this week, as I reported. And he fills a need. He's a true point guard. Someone responded to me and said, Zoom Diallo and JJ Mandaquit not a true point guard. Yeah. Again, I didn't say that. They weren't.
They got after you a little
bit. Maybe I should have clarified, an experienced true point guard, right? Someone that's played in the Big Ten. And this is something that Sprinkle said in his post-game presser after their final game is we need to get Big Ten players that can play tough And I think he kind of learned. I think he really did because if you look at Washington's roster, and part of it's because he came on so late last year, but they're made up of like good mid-major players
Yeah.
and not really like dudes from high major Power Four programs, right?
Yeah, let's set a little. So nice job, Kev.
Yeah.
Good reporting, by the way.
Someone said it was a good report. I was like, thank you.
No,
Thank
it
you.
is. You got a
Yeah.
scoop. So a couple things to set context for people. Danny Sprinkle went on KJR and said Zoom and Frank Kepnong are back. And I didn't even know Frank had eligibility. I couldn't even finish that sentence clearly.
Yeah.
I was so excited because you know I love Frank.
Yeah.
So those two are back, but that's it. So no one else is confirmed right now. And I didn't even know that you have to like sign again each year. And I don't know if that's new. Like there was something in the article that said they have put their name on the line for the whatever the financial agreement is, I think.
Yes, yeah. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah, can I just I think this
Yeah.
is interesting.
Geek
So let
out.
me
Go,
expound
go.
upon this. So the what's happening now is the House settlement, which is basically the settlement that will allow colleges to pay players right now. So they're signing like these preliminary agreements, and the football players are signing these too, basically saying like, okay, once this settlement goes through, we're going to begin paying you this set amount. And all the schools across the country are doing this. And so from the article, it seems like Zoom and Frank have signed their agreements.
Right.
Right. Now, this is nothing to say that they could like another school can't just come by and say, hey, we're going to offer you ×5 that, right? They'll just break the contract.
Okay.
So I don't know if that gives you any comfort, but yeah. I mean, all of these guys, like Tyler Harris, he's going to get paid. Like Sprinkle has to make decisions, right? Like,
so what does he have? 4 guys coming in, right?
yeah, those guys, and then
So
yeah,
he's got 4 plus these 2, so that's 6. And then he said he wants to add 6 guys.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, using my Sherlock Holmes skills, that Tyler Harris is not coming back. We already know Jace Butler and Christian King entered into the portal.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyler Harris was one. And Makai Mason, who I really liked at the end of last year, also is another one who I was hoping they'd both come back. At least Mason. Tyler Harris, I'm not so sure about. I know you loved him at the start of the year. But if I mean, he could add 6 and then you're at 14. But I don't know. The way Sprinkle said it with those 2 coming back, I guess it's possible. But it makes me feel like nobody else is coming back. And maybe the other thing he said in the article was like, we couldn't shoot well enough, or we didn't play fast enough.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants different dudes, which is weird because he assembled the team. But to your point, it was late and it clearly was not the team. Well, let's hope it's not the team he wanted because they finished last in the Big Ten. So we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They do have a jump on the portal right now. And then the bigger news, I think, is I've seen now maybe 3 different reports. And by reports, I mean random people on X who say they have sources who say Washington's going big with big money in the portal. Which you have said, there's a whale out there. You've said this on the podcast.
Yeah, I think there is because, okay, someone's leaking this to basically the reason for that report is to let the players and agents know, like, okay, you should throw Washington in the mix for your dude that's in the transfer portal because they're going to pay a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, they did pay for the biggest transfer last year, right?
Yeah.
In college basketball.
Yeah.
So
the other thing too, a visit. This is why the visit is such a big deal because the visit is basically like, we're going to negotiate the contract. And if you're happy, you're going to come here. So
this is wild.
It's
like
really
NFL
fast.
Free agency.
It's
right?
really
it's the same
fast.
thing.
Like they're not even. You could have like Harding could say he sets a scheduled visit with another school, not this week but the following week, and he might not even make that visit if Washington's able to kind of close.
But this is why it's also such the Wild West and it's so dumb.
Yeah.
So you're Tennessee, probably a bad example because they probably have plenty of money. Maybe this is why everybody has a GM now, right? Because your GM has to be doing this while you're coaching. Like you're getting ready for the Sweet 16. You don't have time to do the portal stuff. I mean, not that you don't have time, but your guys, you don't know who your spots are. Like it's punishing teams who are doing well.
It's kind of crazy.
That's insane. And the same thing happened in football. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
The teams that were done could add, or kids are leaving for the portal, and then the teams are in the
there's teams playing in the college football playoff that were saying like we're gonna leave, right? And they're still playing for their. It's
right. I don't think we're gonna see that yet in basketball because the rotations are too small and stuff.
Yeah.
Although I said this about the Huskies, I think Sprinkle knew who said they were leaving before the season ended, and so Mark Pope at Kentucky probably knows who's planning on leaving, but maybe not, because I'm watching Arizona play and it's like they're starting two guards from Alabama. Everybody's got major D1 transfer guards. Kentucky's got the guy from San Diego State starting at guard. Kentucky's whole team is portal. Now Calipari left, so that's a big part of it. But I guess I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But I'm just like flabbergasted by the fact that teams get punished for being good at basketball. And I think that's stupid. And that is going against the Huskies, and maybe the Huskies can take advantage of it. But to close it up, I don't think Brock Harding is helping us make the tournament. No offense. Although he was 2023 Mr. Basketball in Illinois. That's a big deal. Well, I mean, Chicago basketball is no joke. So
I'm pretty sure Brandon Podziemski was Mr. Basketball in Illinois, transferred to Santa Clara, and became an NBA player. So I'm not saying it.
All right, let's stay with commits. Let's go to point 4.
Yeah.
Tell us, you're the big Husky football insider. There's a couple big commits since we've last talked about this.
Yeah.
One was recent, and then the other one I'm thinking about is he hasn't committed, has he? Has Schmiegel, the quarterback, committed yet?
Brady Schmiegel has not committed. There's a lot of smoke
Everybody
about
says
him.
He's going to UW, right?
Yeah, he's still got visits. He's like going to go to Michigan.
But he's got a visit to UW still. He came to Junior Day, but he's coming back for his third visit.
Well, actually, he came in December too, I think.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And then went to go see him a couple times in January.
And he's a 5-star drop back quarterback, right?
And they're not really recruiting. This is the inside baseball.
Yeah.
In January, they kind of spread their wings, right? Like, okay, we're going to talk to these other quarterbacks, but they've really not touched any of the other quarterbacks that they were recruiting in January. And you're starting to see this with after Junior Day. They've kind of cooled on some fringe guys that they were recruiting. So I don't do crystal ball, but I'm probably around 80-85% on Smeagol.
Well, right. And other places do the crystal balls, and they say he's going to UW. So that would be big to have Damon Williams and him. But who's the commit they got at the end of last week?
Well, they got CJ Lavender, a safety out of Mater Dei, 5'11", 175.
Yep.
3 stars. What's interesting about this is the Huskies are just pulling guys out of Mater Dei. That's USC's territory.
We'll talk about Mater Dei later.
But they got a Mater Dei quarterback, Dash, who came in with the last class. They pulled a receiver, Marcus Harris, who was a 4-star from Mater Dei. So this coaching staff has, they must have started when they were at Arizona, but just have a great relationship with Mater Dei, which is huge. It's
and this guy's a 2026.
Yeah, 2026. So now they have 7 dudes committed. They're ranked 28th overall. They did lose an Eastside Catholic linebacker, Wasi.
Yeah, to USC.
Flipped to Stanford. Which, I've never.
Yeah, if you can go to Stanford. You go to Stanford.
You're getting more.
So if the quarterback commits, he would give them their first 5-star. They have a 4-star and 5 3-stars.
Yeah, and
he would jump them up to 20th maybe or something.
And they want him because then that could create kind of momentum.
A little buzz,
Yeah. But we won't see. There's going to be some 2027 guys visiting in April, but end of April we'll start to see official visits start, and that I think there's going to be more commits down the line. So if they could pull anyone in between now and then, that'd be great. But I don't think we're going to see much for the
Just for
next
people
month.
who care a little bit about college football recruiting,
Yeah.
USC is the #1 class right now for 2026, which
Mm.
I'm like, it doesn't matter who's coaching, what's going on. They just
Yeah.
have a top 5 class. Clemson 2, LSU 3. Okay, that makes sense. Oregon 4, that is just painful.
Yeah.
Kansas 5. Like, let's go, Kansas. I'm in. This is tremendous. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So, I have at least one friend who will care about that. So,
Should we just go straight to modern day?
yeah, I was just gonna say the
Yeah.
same thing. This story's we gotta tell.
This is
Okay,
crazy. So I saw this article.
lay it out. Yeah, I saw the same thing, and I immediately texted Sam Reed, the Seattle Prep athletic director.
Okay, so Modern Day, if you're not familiar, is this major sports school in Southern California, in Orange County. Can you name some alums like Matt Leinart, I think went there, Carson
I
Palmer.
so when my first year helping varsity at Prep was Martell Webster and Spencer Haas, and we went to the City of Palms basketball tournament, which is insane.
Yeah.
Like Lou Williams was there. It was crazy. Montverde played in that, and Modern Day played in it. And I didn't know at the time like how historic like those two programs. Like Montverde is insane. That's where Cooper
Yeah.
Flag played last year. That's where VJ Edgecombe, who's going to be a top pick. Um, Modern Day has 4,500 students, I think, around there. So that's the same size as the Santa Clara University. And it's a high school.
Crazy.
But
Yeah.
here's what happened, Kev. Tell us.
Yeah, so I just want to
Wait,
correct
did you
the
already tell
record.
it? No, you didn't
No,
tell
no, no.
it.
Carson
Okay.
Palmer did not go there. Matt Leinart did.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
they signed a media rights deal that will pay $1 million annually,
That's insane.
which means that their athletic department's going to get $1 million to
Yeah.
just air their games.
Yeah.
Like, it's called Playfly Sports. Have you heard of this? You were an AD.
I haven't even heard of it. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So a 10-year deal and roughly $1 million, and then it's going to increase over time. So it's crazy. Like
It's
$1
insane.
million?
It's crazy. So I texted jokingly to our AD at Prep, and I said no pressure. And then he told me all the things he was working on. So I hope I didn't offend him. I was meaning it as a joke. It's crazy. It's crazy. There was a guy when I was an AD who told at Loyola Los Angeles, the Jesuit
Yeah.
school down there, and they got like a $10 million gift for their football program only, and they had to use it on their football program. And I'm like, where are these people in Seattle?
Yeah.
Well, I know where they are. They're all at Lakeside. Okay. So they have a beautiful gym. It's the Paul Allen Center. Gates, Allen, Balmer, Bezos, all Lakeside affiliated in some capacity. So
Yeah.
that's where they all are. So they're not
Yeah.
at Seattle Prep or
Well, two different things,
Garfield High
though,
School.
right?
I mean, the closest
Yeah.
thing, we'd have in any capacities, maybe Beach, but the
Yeah.
money's not going back into the school necessarily. They had Crawford
God.
Court, but
Maybe I need to, once this happens, once Seattle Prep signs its first media rights, maybe I need to become the GM of the basketball program.
seriously. The thing about Modern Day, the reason it works is they're good at lots of sports, right? So
Yeah.
football and basketball, and I'm sure they're good at baseball and soccer and whatever. When you have that many kids and you're just a
Yeah.
powerhouse, the issue in Seattle is, I'm sure people would think, well, what about Beach, right? Well, Beach has been pretty good at football, like state, but not state title contender for the most part. And they're awful at baseball. They just don't have a great baseball program. They're not that good at soccer or whatever else.
Mhm.
Girls basketball has really, really not been good. So you don't get a full media rights package. The closest you'd probably get in Seattle area. I mean, it would honestly, like, this is gonna sound like
Seattle Prep.
I mean, we won the Metro League all sports trophy for boys and girls last year in the best
Yeah.
league in the state. So, I mean, Mercer Allen has a great program, but like, I don't think people are tuning in. No offense. Same thing with
Yeah.
Prep. Like, people are not necessarily tuning in unless you have stars, and Modern Day has stars. So,
Yeah.
$1 million per year. Crazy.
God, not that I would need pay any more money.
If I had crazy amounts of money, I would pay Jordan Bugg $1 million. Do you know who Jordan Bugg is?
I did after watching that highlight.
Did you watch the goal?
Yes.
Okay, this is our next one. So the OL Reign, they're not the OL Reign, the Seattle Reign. They got sold. The Seattle Reign, of who I am a season ticket holder, has a win and a tie in their first 2 matches, which I see as big progress. Big progress.
Especially after that, how they ended.
They were terrible last year. But Jordan Bugg, who is, Kev, I want to say she's 20 years old. I'm going to double check it. But she is a defender for the Seattle Reign. She is 18. My bad. She's 18 years old. She's been compared on the broadcast to Naomi Girma, who is the best defender in the world. And Jordan Bugg scored a ridiculous goal from 40 yards out. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And it proved to be the game winner for the Reign on the road at the Courage, who were a playoff team last year. So big win for the Reign. I'm excited about what we're seeing. So you got Jordan Bugg in the starting lineup. She's 18 years old. You have a forward who's a rookie from North Carolina starting for them. They brought in another North Carolina player, Sam Meza, who I think is like 23. I mean, they're just playing a lot of young players right now, and it's very exciting as a Reign season ticket holder. I like the youth, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just fun to see. So they're playing better. They were definitely under attack at the end of that game, but very early in the season, but much shorter season than MLS. And I think it's promising. And the uniforms look solid on TV. I'll say that too.
Yeah. Next, the Celtics, the Boston Celtics sold for $6.1 billion.
That's insane.
Why are we talking about the Boston Celtics on a Seattle sports podcast?
Why, Kev?
This was the domino that we were just waiting for it to fall. Someone asked it in the mailbag. That's forthcoming. When are the Sonics coming back? And we've been waiting for this for 2 reasons. The first reason is valuation, right? This is the highest valued, the largest sale in North American sports or whatever.
Yeah, the Commanders went for $5.5 billion, I think, last year or something, or whenever they got sold.
Damaged goods too.
Yeah, true. Although it turned out to be a pretty good purchase, probably.
Yeah.
Although they have stadium issues. I don't know how it got resolved, but they were trying to get the District of Columbia to fund a stadium or parts of it, or give them the rights to land or whatever it was. So
yeah,
that would not be the case with your Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah. So basically now they have a value, right? So now if an expansion team is theoretically put up for bidding, maybe it's 6.1 billion is like some type of measuring stick.
Yeah, the Suns were $4 billion.
Oh yeah,
and they were the last one sold. So I think most people think in between.
Yeah,
the Celtics and the Suns. So like a 5 is a number. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, the owners are going to try and get it higher, right? So if they can go to 5.2 or 5.3, they'll do it, or 5.5. Whatever.
The other reason this is significant is because Samantha Holloway, who's the part of the Kraken ownership group, which is known as probably the leader.
Yeah.
Kind of the lead to kind of get the Sonics. Her late father had an ownership stake in the Celtics. So you can't own 2 teams at once, which makes a lot of sense. And so now that conflict is gone. And now so Holloway and her ownership group, and it'll be really interesting actually to see what other groups crop up in terms of bidding against Holloway and her ownership group. They definitely have the inside track, but who knows? Who knows who else will come out of nowhere and try to get the Sonics? So,
although the quotes from that group feel like
it's a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's what gives me confidence that the Sonics are happening is that I don't know. Even like back in the day with Chris Hansen, whatever, the way Samantha Holloway has quotes. It's like, yeah, we saw this great news, but I don't know. Just it has an air of like inevitability to it.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. There's just breadcrumbs there, right? And you just see reporting in Seattle that just seems to keep going there. If you like you were talking about earlier about agents leaking information about UW and the NIL, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, like reporters here who have information but can't say it will just say it in different ways, right? So that just gets referenced all the time. Yeah. Why would it get referenced if it's not part of the story? But you're right. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe there's more to it. Gary Payton has also had some quotes over the last 12 months that have been really much like it's coming.
Yeah.
But I trust Samantha Holloway maybe more than Gary Payton on this one. It will be $333 million to each owner if two teams come in at $5 billion each.
Yeah, they want.
Can you imagine that? Just being an NBA owner, you're already stinking rich, and you're just like, here's your check for $333 million.
Yeah.
Now you lose TV money over the next 10 years or whatever years for the NBA contract. So that's what it's making up for. But because it gets divided by 32, so right?
God, we're talking $1 million does not seem like a lot of money for that modern day 10-year deal, right? Like $10 million over 10 years doesn't seem like that much now.
I mean, there's still outside hope of the Sonics being here in 27, 28.
Yeah.
And I'll be giddy. Somebody asked me at work the other day, would I rather have a Mariners World Series win or the Sonics come back? And that was brutally hard.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask. Maybe let's save it toward the end after we talk some Mariners.
All right, I'll let you think of it. We got one more on our Elite Eight. Yeah. Last one is just March Madness, Kev. Do you love March Madness? Are you indifferent to it?
I just love it. I just love everywhere I go. There's basketball on TV. I love coming home after we put JJ down. There's basketball on TV.
Yeah.
I love that the women's games are all accessible now. So even when the men's games are not on or not interesting, there's women's games. It's just so great. It's just the best time of year.
This is awesome. You sound like Will Ferrell in Elf.
Yeah.
When he says, I'm in love and I'm in love. I don't care who knows it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, sorry, I'm a fiend. Like, there's nothing better.
It is so good. And the Maryland Colorado State game tonight was awesome.
Can you believe the Huskies beat both of them?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Colorado State. Wow.
And they were playing in Seattle.
The Maryland win was like probably the peak of the season, right? Like well, maybe not because Seattle U lost was right before that, but
but they beat Colorado State in the non-conference. It's pretty hilarious.
Brutal. There's been the women's games have not been great overall.
And
Kentucky,
that's how the
Kansas State,
they're just lopsided.
But I know the men's have been like UConn, Florida was awesome. Game. Yeah. So good. And you get some really good second round games. Gonzaga Houston was good. And it's not there in the women's games. The disparity, the range is too big. But if you think about a potential Elite Eight games and then Final Four, you're gonna have an Elite Eight of maybe USC and UConn. And then a Final Four of USC, UCLA. I would throw Notre Dame and South Carolina in there.
Well, the other thing that my wheels are spinning because of this podcast of like, ooh, the Storm should get that person. The Storm should get that person, right? Yeah. Like, I was watching UCLA. Who's the really tall person?
Lauren Betts. She's coming back to
sophomore?
UCLA.
Yeah,
she's going back. She could have come out, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she was a redshirt sophomore or what, because I thought the rule was 3 years, but she's coming back. She'll be she's projected to be a number 1 overall pick in 2026. So she's good. She's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women's game is awesome. There's so many good players.
There's players that could be playing for the Storm this season.
Well, that's what's wild, right? So this will end April, right?
Yeah.
And then the draft is like a week later. It's like pretty soon. And hopefully Olivia Miles is on our team or Paige Beckers. And we're rolling in a training camp and we're talking about it, while the Mariners are 18-4. It'd be great.
Yeah. Talking about, are we going to transition the Mariners?
We are, but let me say one more thing. What's cool about thinking about connecting our last two subjects is, I'm looking at like Walter Clayton Jr. of Florida. Like that guy is so good. And seeing Derek Queen from Maryland hit this game-winning shot after I slammed him after the Huskies played him. Do you remember that on the podcast? I was like, that guy sucks. So Felix said tonight, this is a side note, he's like, if Derek Queen hits the game-winning shot, you and Lincoln have to shut up about him, because we were both bagging on him. And then he hits it, and Felix is like, shut up on Derek Queen. It was amazing. All right. But like all these dudes, right? Obviously Cooper Flagg. Yeah. You just think about an expansion draft and like an NBA draft in 2 years and caring about that again, how much different as you're talking about the WNBA draft and watching these women play. Like, I don't want to answer my question.
Coach Sprinkle, get things moving, man.
I'm getting giddy.
Get things moving, Coach Sprinkle. Come on, man. Spend all $10 million in the transfer portal on good guys. I don't know if they have 10 million, by the way. Just a guess.
Kevin's reporting. Yeah. We're going to transition to the Final Four March Madness theme. But this time, Final Four is all about your Seattle Mariners.
I'm wearing my Mariners version of the Seatown Sports. Oh, yeah, I'm going to work on it. Yeah. So we can wear it at baseball games.
I will wear it all the time. I will advertise that thing.
Yeah.
The Mariners start on Thursday. I'm now officially excited.
Yeah, man. I might be going to go see them when they come play the Giants.
I love it. Giants,
they
best
the
stadium in
the
baseball.
Following week, and the Kraken play that week too. God,
this is
busy.
Great. Well, let's talk about one of our four topics. I'm going to go to this one since you mentioned the Giants. I'm going to switch the order here.
Yeah.
The Mariners released Mitch Haniger today, this morning, I think. They're going to pay him $15.5 million to not play baseball for them, which is a little shocking for a team that doesn't like to spend money.
Yeah.
Mitch Haniger, great memories. Good dude. Should not be on the Major League Baseball team right now, at least not the Mariners.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet that I thought was really good. And I didn't know this, so I don't know if this is official. But the Mariners got outbid for Kevin Gausman the year they signed Robbie Ray. I did not know that. That's what this person said. And it's so Mariners to compound the issue of Robbie Ray getting hurt and then wanting to get out of that contract. So you trade him for Mitch Haniger for vibes, and then Mitch Haniger comes back and he's not good.
Yeah.
And it really is a bummer. And Robbie Ray, by the way, is crushing it in spring training.
Yeah, he was up there. I mean, I was almost going to draft him in fantasy.
Yeah. He's throwing they said he learned Tarek Skubal's changeup, and Tarek Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray was Cy Young winner. Like, part of me, I was fine when they traded him because I was so triggered by that Yordan Alvarez home run he gave up in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And they had all these young pitchers, right? But now that Haniger's gone, I'm like, they should have just kept Robbie Ray. God.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. But I don't know. Yeah. He probably has like a couple more years on that deal, I'm guessing.
I mean, it's progress because at least he's just not doing anything like the tail end of Ichiro, like the tail end of Griffey. Like, okay, like
getting rid of Haniger's progress, you're saying?
Well, like they've moved on.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have him on the roster
right
just because he's Mitch Haniger, right? So.
Well, definitely, because he's so redundant with Garver in terms of position. Like, where can Haniger play? He can't play the outfield anymore, right? So I'd rather them roll with good old Rowdy Tellez, who looks like he's going to make the roster. It's unbelievable. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
All right. Mariners food options, Kev. Have you perused yet?
Yeah. So I can't get over the ice cream nachos. Look so good.
Okay. That's your first thing. The ice cream nachos. We got new Mariners food.
Yeah. What else do they have?
So I think the big headliner was this
the blue corn dog.
Blue corn dog. Yeah. It's honey battered with a spicy crunch, and you can dip it in nacho cheese. It's not really blue. It looks way more green.
Yeah.
How
about the little dumpers?
I'm guessing I'll try it. The little dumpers are great because Din Tai Fung is no longer there, and these are pork dumplings, and so my children are going to be very, very happy about this.
Yeah.
So the little dumpers. Also, little dumpers, great name. And they're in the walk-off market, which I'm a big fan of the walk-off markets.
Yeah. By the way, it's called the What Up Corn Dog. Described as, quote, a Mariners Blue honey battered corn dog with a spicy crunch served with nacho. I know you just said that, but
yeah,
like
but that's something.
the
Man.
What Up Corn Dog.
What up, corn dog? You're right though. The ice cream nachos do look amazing.
Don't they look great?
The little waffle chips that it comes with, or whatever.
Soft serve.
Yeah, that's good. They got some Ichi wings for Ichiro, an Ichi roll, and then Great State Burger there. They have a sumo dog, which has wasabi relish, pickled peppers, spicy mayo, teriyaki sauce, furikake, minced onion, and nori on an all beef hot dog. I will probably try
Yeah,
that.
that looks really good.
And
Sounds
then
really good.
I don't know if you saw this, but Kenji Lopez Alt or Alt Lopez, I apologize, I can't remember which way his last name goes. He's a big foodie
Yeah.
in Seattle. He does a great TikTok page. He's actually has books, like he's national, but he lives in Seattle.
Yeah.
And his teriyaki recipe is the teriyaki they're serving. And we love teriyaki, Kev.
Yeah.
We've talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it last week.
So
By the way, can I just share like one of my favorite moments as a sports reporter?
yes,
was
please.
I was invited to preview this
Oh.
is back in 2012, the Seahawks, I think it was Quest Field at the time,
Yeah,
their menu.
that's
And
amazing.
so they sent me they sent me an offering, and then I was able to take a friend, and it was during a Sounders match. And so not only was I able to have a press pass of the Sounders game, but I was able to just taste this food for like
Yeah.
the whole first half. Just they walked me around, and then we took pictures. I took a video, and I tasted all the food, and it's a big deal. And I was like thinking when I saw this Mariners news comes out, I was like, man, that would have been really cool to do. Just
Yeah.
taste the
It
food.
would have been great. I think the last thing we have to note in terms of food is that in the King's Court section,
Yeah,
they have a turkey leg you can buy now.
it's like
Which
Disneyland.
did you ever do that at Disneyland?
Oh yeah,
So good.
yeah.
So we got it when we went. I think we went 3 years ago. To sound right, something like that, with the kids, and we were hungry and we got it because one of our kids, it was just like right up his alley.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not going to be good. And then I took a bite and I was like, it is so
It's
good.
juicy.
I don't know if it's all the rides and you're exhausted or whatever it is, but it was real good. And we just devoured that thing as a family.
Yeah,
Right
there
by
you go.
the what were we by? Right by the Thunder Mountain Railroad. That's a good
Oh,
ride.
I thought you were about to say my favorite ride of all time.
What?
Abraham Lincoln. It's my favorite ride of all time.
What is Abraham Lincoln, first of all?
The
What are you
Abraham
talking about?
Lincoln, Mr. President, the show, the presentation.
That's
How do you
not a
not-
ride.
To me, it's a ride through history. All right, next
Kev.
topic.
Oh God, I got to talk real quick. I got to get your reaction on the value menu. So, as a person who has gone to a lot of Mariner games and takes kids, the value menu, I think I've talked about this before, but I've figured out how to do a Mariners game. So, I would go to the value menu with Felix, who'd usually go with me, and we're just hitting it up, and we're under $20. We're eating. You get a value menu hot dog. It's super small. You get the nachos. You get a pretzel from somewhere else, but you don't pay $3 for the cheese cup. You use the nacho cheese that you got in the cheap nachos and dip it in that. It's genius. Yep. You bring your own soda from home, the cup from 4 years ago. They never check. The sodas are just out in the wild. And then you got to go for your value beer, And this year, I don't know how you feel about a Michelada. Are you a Michelada fan?
Oh yeah, I'm fully California now.
Okay, so they
yes.
have a Modelo Michelada. It's $7. It's in a can. It's probably not great. They have a Asahi Japanese lager, $6 in a can. Frim lager, which seems pretty good, $8. That's
Oh, they have
fancy.
they have
Yeah.
the non-alcoholic athletic beers.
They
too.
do. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
They got Blue Moon non-alcoholic. But then the $5 beers, there's only two of them. Miller High Life, which I will be drinking some of this year at Mariners games. I can hang with that. But the Keystone Light, not sure that's me.
You know what they call that?
What?
Pullman water.
Fantastic. That's great. All right. Well, I'm excited for Mariners baseball, but Mitch Haniger getting released and the food value and the food options of the value menu do not have me as excited as point number 3 out of our final 4.
The 1990 will you be paying for the new option to stream your Seattle Mariners for 19.99 per month?
Kev, we haven't even talked about this.
Yeah.
You just asked me legitimately. You were wondering.
Yeah.
I've already done it.
They've already taken your money.
So let's talk about this. It's a big deal in baseball that teams are starting to offer direct to consumer streaming options, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have it in the NFL. They don't have it in the NBA. But the NFL and NBA have much different TV situations, right? All NFL games are on TV. You're good. Yeah. NBA games usually, you're local, but there's a lot of national games. MLB, there's 162 games. And as everyone knows in Seattle, it's been tied to Root Sports. And to get Root Sports, you cannot do it non-bundled. You have to do it with Comcast. And I talked about this last May. I switched to Fubo because they raised it on Comcast as a plus option. I was like, screw them, going to Fubo. Okay. My sister got YouTube TV recently. YouTube TV allows a whole family to watch. Totally legal, like 5 accounts.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. So she told me, as we're hanging out this week, yeah, you just use that. We're good. When the Mariners streaming option came out, the only real reason I have Fubo is for that. I immediately went to my computer. I canceled Fubo, which I was paying $113 a month for. I had some additional things on there, some sports packages and things, but I canceled it. I'm like, I don't need it. I got YouTube TV. And now I have the Root Sports stream for $20 a month.
Which means...
So I'm going to save $90 a month.
Yeah, which means you can get things off the value menu at the minute. You can go and get that blue hot dog. You can say, Felix and Lincoln, you both can get one thing off the value menu because we're saving $100.
This is incredible. This is incredible. I hope they don't listen to this. It's so true. It is so true. It is great though. Now I will report back on the quality of it if it works. Here's something I don't know that of course you can't Google because they won't tell you. Like, could you log into my account and watch?
No, I don't think I can because
of course not, right?
Limited to the Northwest,
oh.
So they have the footprint. But
do they have a number of screens? Like, could theoretically my kid watch it in his room and I watch it upstairs if it's in the same house?
This is all stuff you're gonna have to report.
I know. Yeah, now the good news is on my account, like I'm gonna be the only one watching, right? Yeah. So, will I be streaming the home opener during Lincoln's 8th grade musical?
This is like...
Well, the answer is no. Dana's listening. Okay. I'm excited about this. It is a good thing. And the fact that people were complaining about it on X was insane. And I'm glad there were Mariners writers of blogs defending the Mariners on this one, saying people are complaining about 74 cents per game.
Yeah.
They finally did 2 good things. Release Haniger's the right move, streaming option, and people were still pissed. And Ryan Divish's replies on the Haniger thing were insane. People were like, they should have done it earlier. They could have used that money somewhere else. He's like, not how baseball works. They still owe him the money. Well, why did they do it now? They could have spent that 15 on an offensive lineman. They're basically like Seahawks fans who are just saying stupid stuff. So,
well, that stuff's starting to happen to me, and I'm just trying the urge not to respond, and sometimes I just ignore. So yes,
Divish was going in today. It was great. You should just go read all his replies, and he's actually very nice to them. He's just like, not how it works, not how it works, not how it works. All right. Well, with all that. We got all the outside stuff ready for the team. Now, it looks like the team is ready.
Things of working or not working or us having no idea if it's going to work or how it will work. Right. Well, here's the good news. We already saw this roster. We saw it last year. It's really similar.
That's true.
Do we want to talk through the bullpen? It's kind of nice to see.
I listed it out for you because there was a little bit of Mariner nerd land. Like if
Yeah.
Patrick was with us, I think he would have a take on this,
Yeah.
and then I would make fun of him.
Yeah.
So people were upset, including him on X, about Casey Leguima or whatever his name is. He's a Gonzaga guy, not making the pen. He got sent down today. It sounds like they're going to keep Carlos Vargas, who doesn't have any more options, right? So he has to stay on the big league.
Yeah.
Who was part of the Suarez trade?
Yeah.
Came over from Arizona. Not a very good pitcher. Who cares? He's the last guy in the bullpen. Like
Yeah.
Carlos Vargas is pitching.
Out, they drop him and they bring up
Exactly. Carlos Vargas is pitching when we're down 7. Like, what do we care? Like, who cares? We and this is like what people do. They like freak out about bullpen because it's all you could talk about, and it doesn't end up mattering.
Yeah. The only thing that matters is that Andres Munoz stays healthy. Gregory Santos hopefully can be effective. That's all I care about the bullpen. That's all I think it's necessary to talk about. Well, do you want to talk about the lineup?
No, I want to say, adding on to that, totally agree with you. Great take.
Yeah.
Matt Brash comes back healthy by the end of April.
Yes.
And if you have Brash and a decent Santos and Munoz with Spire, Snyder, Thornton at the end of the bullpen, all of a sudden, especially with the starters they have, it's really, really good, right? And the bullpen was fine last year, but we've talked about this with Patrick. Like, they weren't great.
Yeah.
So Santos, Brash, Munoz is what I'm excited about. I don't really care that much about the other guys that much. Yeah, the lineup, like, should I be worried that these are hitters who are going to be on the Major League roster on Thursday? Miles Mastrobuoni, Jorge Polanco, Rowdy Tellez, Ryan Bliss,
Mitch Garver.
I mean,
all right, we got to pump up the people. So can you go through your like actual like lineup 1 through 9?
I think it's gonna. Well, I'm fairly confident it'll go Robles, who got hit on the hand, but X-rays are negative, so I'm guessing he'll play Thursday. Robles starting in right field, leading off. Julio in center, batting second. I think Cal will be third as catcher, or Randy Rosarena left field. They might flip, right? Top 4, kind of feel good about that top 4. I don't know.
It's
Let's
decent.
just pause there for a second.
I think it's one of the best catchers in the league, one of the best outfielders in the league. 2 of the 4 guys, and then a power hitter.
Yeah, right. It's fine. And then you go. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure.
It's not Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman.
Oh my god. Okay, so Robles didn't play today. I'm trying to see what they're, because they kind of go with the lineup that it probably will be, like right towards the end of spring. He played yesterday and he got hurt. So Robles, Julio. Yeah, I'm gonna say Cal, then a Rosarena. It looks like Luke Raley probably at first base batting 5th. Mitch Garver at DH batting 6th.
Jorge Polanco,
I would say batting 7th at third base. Probably, actually, I'd guess Dylan Moore or Bliss batting 8th at second base. Maybe Moore starts the first game just because he's a vet, but I think they're going to give Bliss a lot of the at-bats.
Yeah.
Which that excites me a little bit more. Let's just see what we got. And then I think probably JP 9th is how it will normally go.
What are your predictions? What's going on?
Well, let's just say this. Mitch Garver, I feel like he's going to be good. And this is my optimism. So Mitch Garver and Polanco are going to have bounce back years. If that's true, the team's pretty good. Because then all of a sudden you've got, even if Robles takes a step back, Julio, Cal, Randy, Garver, Polanco, like, that's a good lineup a couple years ago. And this is the problem with the Mariners. You're always looking on bounce backs and stuff like that. Like JP needs to bounce back and all this stuff. But I don't know. I think they could be okay. Donovan Solano looks like he'd be a good bench bat, filling in. Rowdy Tellez hit 30 bombs 2 years ago. I'm convincing myself, and it makes me sad, Kev.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't it sound like I'm just trying to convince myself?
Yeah, I mean,
Ugh.
there's a reason why we're not talking about the rotation because we've talked about the rotation for the past year,
Yeah.
and I think everyone knows what you're going to get with that. And I think that as long as that's the number one rotation in baseball, this team's a competitor.
Right. And that's the
Um,
thing. If they stay healthy, and we obviously know Kirby's not starting the year in the majors, so they're already behind there. You just need Polanco and Garver and Rayleigh and JP to be like
to hit 240 and not 220.
yeah, be their average selves, right?
Yeah,
And one of them to have a good year. And obviously you need Julio and Randy to have good years and Cal to have good years, but it just feels like with that pitching, you need a 15th best or 10th best hitting team in baseball.
yep, yep, totally agree.
And I don't know, probably because it's March and I love baseball. I think it's possible.
It's
So,
always possible. This is why
we're
we podcast.
right. So my prediction is, and I bet on it today, the Mariners are going to win the AL West.
Oh,
The Rangers are going to get second. That's
yeah.
actually what I bet on. I bet an exacta Mariners first, Rangers second.
I'm going to be more realistic and say, well, not a shot at you, but just in my head,
Yeah.
what realistic is. But I think they're going to get the first wild card
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think the first wild card's harder than winning the West.
because of
So,
the AL East.
yeah, you've got the Orioles. I mean, the Yankees are so hurt, but the Yankees still are rolling out Aaron Judge, right?
Hmm.
Like, I don't even know if the Yankees will be there, but the Red Sox have a sick lineup. The Orioles are awesome. The Blue Jays are still legit. Like, I don't know. Do we forget that they have Max Scherzer and Kevin Gausman in the
And
rotation,
Vlad
and
Guerrero.
they have Vlad Guerrero and Bichette and all these dudes. And Tampa Bay is always in the mix. But then even in the Central, like the Guardians are good. The Royals are awesome. The Tigers made the playoffs last year. I just feel like Twins are supposed to make the playoffs. They're good. I think the Rangers and the Astros, the Mariners could be just as good as either of those teams. With Kyle Tucker gone and the Astros trying to play Altuve and left, it just seems like it's there for them. It's there for the Mariners.
Yep.
So I'm predicting AL West championship.
There
Can
we
I tell you
go.
one more bet I made today on a season-long baseball bet, which is really depressing.
You're saving $100, so you better.
This is really depressing because you have to wait till October to see
Yeah.
if it pays off.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, what would you guess his over under home runs for the year was?
It's got to be 60.
46 and a half.
That's it?
So I bet the over, baby.
Yeah. You're going to be betting on my team to beat yours too in fantasy with Aaron Judge.
Oh, I wasn't following that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I don't know. So you think Mariners wild card? I'm gonna pick AL West champs.
There we go. It's
Perfect.
nice that we got these predictions in.
Yeah, we got them in. Let's do
Top
top five.
Top five? So my
So
top
you go
five-
first because you're
Yeah.
gonna segue right off of what
Yeah.
we did.
So my top five are the most important Mariners in 2025, and I'll go in order.
Okay.
Number five, I'm gonna say is Jorge Polanco
Yeah.
for the
fair.
reasons we stated. He's got to be average for the lineup to be good. And equally, number four, Mitch Garver. I mean, those are two starters that need to just be average.
there's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where the replacement comes. I mean, Garver could be replaced, I guess, with Rowdy Tellez, but Polanco's best replacement is a guy who's going to be in the minors, Ben Williamson, who's not really ready for Major League Baseball. So
Yep. Number
Polanco
three,
has to bounce back
Yeah.
for us.
yeah. Yeah. And hopefully he's healthy.
Yep.
I'm just crossing my
He's-
fingers.
He's crushing the ball in spring training, but I'm not going to get excited because spring usually means nothing.
Yeah. Number three, Gregory Santos. We know
Yeah.
what Munoz is. I don't want his arm to fall off. Like he needs a break. Like you can't
Yeah.
just roll him out. And like sometimes you need Santos to pick up the slack. And he was gone for most of last year, and I think he's important. Number two, I'm actually gonna say Logan Gilbert. Okay, so
Oh,
and here's why. He's their best pitcher. He's the best pitcher on the best pitching staff in all of baseball. And you need him to anchor the staff. You need him to be healthy, and you needed to be able to depend on him. So he's my
Okay.
number two.
that's fair.
And then number one, I'm gonna say J.P. Crawford.
Oh,
Okay, J.P. Crawford had such a bad year last year,
yeah.
and I don't think he falls into the same bucket as like um Mitch Garver and Jorge Polanco. Like, if Crawford's good, he brings something to the table, like in
That's true.
terms of getting on base. He's a leader in the clubhouse. Like, people, like, we talk about vibes, like, he's got those veteran vibes. He's the veteran presence in the clubhouse. So, all about like the touchy feeling things, but like, he also has to perform, right?
Yep.
And so, you don't want him to take a step back and become what Mitch Haniger is and who's not on the team anymore. You want him to be in the positive war. You want him to be productive, and I think he's the most important player because if all of a sudden if he's hitting 270, like then you're feeling real good about the lineup, and maybe he's not batting ninth. Maybe you push him up at the top. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
he's
it.
leading off, so yeah. Those are my top 5 dudes.
All right. That's a really good list, Kev. Nice job.
Thanks.
My top 5 this time is the top 5 or least 5 the worst lineups on opening day the Mariners have had in the last 15 years. So I picked 5 out of the last 15. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to do individuals, and then I was like, you know what? We need to go with lineups because when we talk about a lineup today, like we did, that let's say opening day, the bottom of the lineup is Raley, Garver, Polanco, Bliss, and JP.
You're gonna give me worse lineups than that?
Well, it's like, is that the worst? Later it will tell us because at the time, maybe we didn't think these teams were as bad as they were. In 2021, the Mariners actually won the opening game against the San Francisco Giants. Kind of weird. I don't even remember this. The Mariners won 8-7. They actually scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kind of amazing. That's a cool way to open the game. We led off Mitch Haniger, Ty France, Kyle Seager, top 3. Not terrible. Evan White batted cleanup. He doesn't play baseball anymore. Taylor Trammell was batting 5th. Dylan Moore 6th. Jake Fraley 7th. Tom Murphy 8th. JP Crawford 9th. That White, Trammell, Moore, Fraley 4 through 7 is brutal.
They were rebuilding. Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
So yeah. Fair. 2019, right before the rebuild. Opening day, Mariners won 9-7 against the A's. How about this one? D. Strange Gordon leading off, followed by Mitch Haniger, playing center field, by the way. Jay Bruce batting 3rd. Edwin Encarnacion 4. Domingo Santana, who hit a grand slam, 5. Omar Narvaez, catcher. Ryan Healy, Tim Beckham, Ichiro batting 9th in right field. Tim Beckham went 3 for 3 in that game. He was our starting shortstop. If you had given me 100 guesses, I would have not have guessed that Tim Beckham played shortstop for us.
That's crazy.
So I think this was an era, like when they've been bad for a while, that I was really having a hard time watching the Mariners. But I probably watched that game. Okay. Should we go to 2000? No, we're going to save that one. Are we going to save that one? We'll go to 2016. The Mariners lost 3-2 to the Rangers. Nori Aoki led off. Here's where it gets interesting. This is kind of a tough one. Ketel Marte was our starting shortstop. Oh, he's so good for Arizona now. Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Franklin Gutierrez. That's not bad. But the Goody, he was bad. That's who I'm wearing, by the way, the jersey. And then it goes Adam Lind, Chris Iannetta at catcher, Leonis Martin at center field. Oof.
That was bad.
Brutal. And Nori Aoki leading off, I remember getting all excited about him because he didn't strike out and all that kind of stuff. And man, he was bad. But Marte, looking back, he wasn't good when he was with us. But Cano, Cruz, Seager, not terrible. All right, here's another one. 2017 for you. We lost 3-0 to the Astros. That wasn't good. Gene Segura leading off. Nice. Good player. Haniger, Cano, Cruz, Seager. And then this is just like this year, our concern. It goes Danny Valencia at first. Couldn't have told you that. Leonis Martin, again making the starting lineup. Mike Zunino, Gerard Dyson. God, that's brutal. That's just a terrible bottom of the lineup. Did we really have Danny Valencia was our starting first baseman? What the hell
Mariners have not had good
were we doing?
Yeah.
By the way, Felix Hernandez pitched that game, lost 3-0. Dallas Keuchel, 7 shutout innings for the Astros. Here's the worst one.
2008.
What did I say? No, 2011. I think this is the worst one. Ichiro, Sean Figgins.
Oh.
Milton Bradley, Jack Cust,
Oh.
batting cleanup. Justin Smoke, 5th. Miguel Olivo. Ryan Langerhans was our center fielder batting 7th. Brendan Ryan at short. Jack Wilson, 9. That is a bad baseball team that we thought would be good because we had Jack Cust. Oh, yeah, he's good. Justin Smoke's going to be the star. Milton Bradley, blah, 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 blah. Mariners did win that game 6-2. Felix Hernandez, 9 innings, complete game, victory.
Man, that lineup was bad.
That lineup is bad. So, do you think right now the lineup they're rolling out this year is worse than any of those?
No. I mean, you have Julio Rodriguez and the best left fielder in Mariners history, Randy Arozarena.
That's so fair. And the best catcher in Mariners history.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh. So no. We're in a good spot.
All right, then we're winning the AL West. Perfect.
Yeah. Wow, that was the episode.
It's always long. We always try.
We're gonna talk about Mariners next week.
Next week, the Mariners will have played.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 games by the time we get on.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
I'm looking forward to it.
4-0.
That wraps up episode 42. Thanks for listening.
See ya.